Hello, 8th grade Grizzlies. This is Miss Brown, and this is going to be just a quick review of HR diagrams to help you study for your test, which is on Friday, September 15th. In your Schoology courses, there is going to be a review video that you can use to help you study for your test. It does have questions embedded in the video, and if you answer those, that will give you an idea of the type of questions that you will see on the test. But in this video, I want to go over the different types of HR diagrams because there are several different types, and there are several different types that you're going to see on your exam Friday. So I just kind of want to go over them and give you some pointers of how to read them and things to look for when you're reading an HR diagram, okay? So this is going to be just kind of a short video. Okay, so HR diagrams, that's short for Hertzsprung-Russell diagram, okay? And the HR diagram, it compares luminosity and temperature of stars. Okay, so what I mean by that is you can look at this HR diagram and you can tell the information about a star's temperature and brightness. Okay, I want you to be aware that luminosity, brightness, and magnitude, they all mean the same thing, okay? They talk about the brightness of a star. And if you look at your y-axis, it says magnitude, brightness. You can also put luminosity in here. All three words mean the same thing, okay? Now, which brings me to another point on your HR diagrams. Your y-axis is always going to be luminosity, brightness, or magnitude. Your x-axis is always going to be temperature. Now, as we will see when we look at a couple of different types of HR diagrams, your luminosity might be listed on this side, and your brightness, I'm sorry, not your brightness, your temperature might be at the top here. Either way, your y-axis will always be magnitude, luminosity / brightness, and your x-axis will always be temperature. Another thing you need to keep in mind when you're reading your HR diagrams is your lower temperature stars are over on the right side, and your high temperature stars will always be on the left side. So just like this number line here says, increasing surface temperature, as you go from right to left, it increases, which is opposite of what you learn in math, because in math, this is always 0 and it gets higher. Not for HR diagrams. Your low temps are here and your high temps are here. Okay? Another strategy that you can use when you're reading HR diagrams is to label it. So your cool stars are always going to be on the right, and your hot stars are going to be on the left. Okay? And then when we talk about luminosity or brightness, your dim stars are going to be at the bottom. Your bright stars are going to be at the top. So this is a really good way to label your HR diagram. It's kind of like a four-corner, so to speak. So your cool and dim stars are here. Your cool and bright are at the top. Your bright stars are at the top and the cool are on the right. Then on the left you have your hot stars. Your bright stars are at the top and your dim stars are at the bottom. Okay? Now on this particular HR diagram, they have the colors listed at the top. Okay? So remember, red is cool, blue or blue-white are hot stars. The yellow stars are kind of in the middle. So like our sun here, our sun is about 5,500 degrees. Hint, hint, you'll need to know that on your test. It's an average star. Average size, average temperature. Okay? And on this HR diagram, I'm going to highlight, but it's the same on all HR diagrams. And that is your supergiants are going to be this category. Your giants will be here. Your main sequence, which are 90% of your stars, are going to be this kind of little diagonal area. And then your white dwarfs are going to be here. And your white dwarfs are always going to be towards the bottom because they are hot stars, but they're very dim. They're about to die, so they're very dim. And then your main sequence, your giants, and your supergiants. Okay, now I'm going to go through another diagram and kind of show you some differences. All right, now this HR diagram, again, you have your your x-axis, which is your temperature. And as you can see, as you go from right to left, it increases. Okay. And then if we turn and look at our y-axis, that is our luminosity. And you remember magnitude and brightness all refer to, they all mean the same thing. Okay? Okay, now if we were to label this diagram, and let me see if I can find, your supergiants would be here, which that is dark there, so I don't think it's going to show up. No, it's not. Okay. Well, just remember, your supergiants would be here. Your main sequence are going to be here. Your white dwarfs are here, and your giants will be over here. Now, the difference of this HR diagram versus this one here is that you have your spectral class. Okay? So on the test, there are a couple of questions that ask, what is the spectral class of a star? So let's do the sun since it's labeled. So the sun is here. Now your spectral class might be at the top, it might be at the bottom. Okay? So if we were to want to find out the spectral class of our sun, you kind of look here and draw a line kind of up. Okay? And it's between G and F. We would say F, O, or M. It would be clear. Okay? So in this case, the sun's spectral class, if we look at the temperature, let's go with G. Okay? And that's just another way to classify stars. And as you see, M, K, these are your cooler stars, and your O and B are your brighter stars. All right, let's look at another HR diagram. All right, now on this HR diagram, your spectral class is at the bottom, your temperature is at the top. But if you look, this is still your x-axis, and your temperature still increases as you go from right to left. Your temperature is still increasing. It's just at the top, not at the bottom.
Good morning, Grizzlies.
Okay. Now, if you turn and look at your y-axis, okay, it still talks about luminosity, which is also known as magnitude or brightness. And I know you're going to get tired of me saying that, but on your test, on your DPM, and on your star, they're going to use these three words interchangeably. So I want to make sure you understand that. Okay? Okay, now another thing you want to notice on this HR diagram is that your luminosity, the sun is always 1, okay? So our sun is always 1, so they compare it in suns, okay? So your dimmer stars are here and your brighter stars are still at the top, but they use just a different system of exponents, okay? Okay. So over here, this is absolute magnitude, which we covered in class. Remember, the more negative, the brighter it is. The more positive, the dimmer it is. Okay? So if you look here, negative 10, these are very, very bright. If you look down here, positive 15, very, very dim. Okay? So that's your absolute magnitude. All right. Just want to call your attention. This is still your x-axis. And like I said at the beginning of the video, your spectral class is at the bottom. So remember M, K, G, F, A, and so on. Okay. So your class is at the bottom and not at the top. But one thing they do on this diagram is they do have the stars plotted but not labeled. So remember, and I'm sorry, this is dark, it's not going to show up. These are your supergiants are at the very top because they're bright. Your giants are here. This diagonal area is always your main sequence. And remember, your white dwarfs are down here at the bottom because they're very hot, but they're dim. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, here's another HR diagram. I think you've probably seen this one in class. Okay, so again, your supergiants are at the top. Your main sequence are here. Your giants are here, and your white dwarfs are here. If you notice, the temperature is your x-axis. As you go from right to left, your temperature is increasing. And then I'm going to flip it and look at my y-axis. Again, your y-axis shows luminosity / brightness / magnitude. Okay. Notice this one does not have a spectral class. Okay, moving on. All right, here's another HR diagram, and this is just your basic x-axis with your temperature at the bottom, and then your luminosity on the y-axis. And then again, they have your categories labeled. Your giants, your supergiants, giants, main sequence, and white dwarfs. Another strategy you might use on the test too is if you see a blank HR diagram, you can go ahead and write these in. And then that way you kind of know. Because there is a test question that gives you a blank diagram and it asks you what area would you find white dwarfs. Okay, remember they're always going to be at the bottom. Or what area would you find supergiants? They're going to be closer to the top. Okay, so it's just another type of diagram. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this video. Again, like I said, it will be an Edpuzzle video linked in Schoology that has some similar questions you'll see on the test. I highly encourage you, again, to go through that. That will help you prepare for your test. So on behalf of Mr. Winter, Miss Ludeman, Miss Ford, and Miss Smith, we believe in you, Grizzlies. We're excited for you to take this first test, and we know that you're going to do well.